If you're in a home service business and you feel like you're still leaving money on the table because you don't actually have a reliable way to get leads for your business, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you my exact three-phase system that I use for all my clients to generate them more qualified leads, more quotes, and how to actually convert those into high-ticket book jobs directly into your accounting. Now this system is pretty straightforward, but I will be going in depth. I'll show you the full 3-step framework, as I said: testing, optimizing, and scaling. In the testing phase, I'll show you how to test offers, primary tags, creatives, and how to build your winning ad and put it together. Optimizing, I'll show you how to cut underperformers so you're not wasting money on ads. And then the last step, scaling, I'll show you how to double and even triple your budget in your campaigns, even while scaling profitably and keeping a healthy cost per lead. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Enzo. I help home service businesses make more money with AI. So if that sounds even just a little bit interesting, don't forget to sub to the channel and definitely stick around for this video because you're not going to want to miss out. All right, that's it, and let's get into it. So just as I promised earlier, I'm going to show you how to build an unlimited lead generation system for your home service business. Now, I'm also going to include a free PDF resource in the bio that you can download for free. That way you don't have to come back to this video if you want to run your ads, set up your campaigns. You can just download the guide and you can always reference it whenever you're scaling up your ads. All right, so this video is going to be the step-by-step meta ad strategy that actually works for all my clients, and I'm going to show you the proven framework that I use on a day-to-day basis. So first, let's start with the skill gap that nobody's talking about. Business A, we're going to do a quick comparison between one business A and the other business B. Business A has the same budget, same market, and the same ads platform. Now, the difference with business B is they have a lower cost per lead, more book jobs, and they're scaling every month profitably. And the difference is not the budget, it's the meta ad system behind that business specifically, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, so stay with me. But before I show you the actual system, these are a few results. These are live results from meta ads, different industries, but overall still the same framework that we apply to get results like these, right? 418 messaging conversations, $13 cost per result, 5K spent. 77 leads, $14 cost per result, 1K spent. 335 leads, 26 cost per result, 9K spent. Why would anybody spend 9K on ads if it wasn't profitable? Think about it. Because a lot of you businesses, you always like to be stingy with your money, saying that ads don't work. But why would this business let me spend 9K on their ads if it wasn't profitable, right? And this month, I think it was about the month of November, they made about 60K just off of like a 2K spend, which is insane, right? It's a 30x return on ad spend. And this last one, 85 leads, $28 cost per result with 2K spend. So just so you understand that this system really does work. And if you follow the blueprint I'm going to show you, you can achieve the same results for your business as well. It's really not that hard. Now, this is why most home service businesses actually lose money on ads. They guess instead of actually doing proper testing. So they basically launch ads based on gut feeling and not structured data. And without data, you can't make educated decisions. It's very dangerous. You're going to waste a lot of your money. Second thing is they scale before they actually have proof of concept. So essentially, you're pouring money into unvalidated campaigns, which is not a good idea because that means, again, you're just burning money and you don't know what actually works because you haven't collected enough data. Your data is not structured. And the last thing is you blame the platform instead of the process. All right, meta works. Meta ads work. If your ads don't work, you just suck, or your strategy just sucks. So you need to fix up your strategy, which is what I'm going to show you in this video. Now, as I said, that's the three-phase system, a structured, repeatable process designed for home service businesses. It starts with testing, where you're going to run controlled experiments across creative, offer, headline, and copy. So that's 4 variables that you're going to test. And I'm going to go live inside the ads manager to show you how to do that testing properly. Then you have the second phase, optimizing, where you're going to refine your testing phase through 3 rounds: elements, placements, and demographics. So this is where you're going to cut down all your underperforming ads, so you only have ad sets of winning killer ads that are going to print money for your business. And it's going to be done in three rounds, so elements, placements, and demographics, over a 6 weeks period. And the last step, which is the most exciting one, is the scaling phase, where you're going to multiply your proven winner using 2 ABO methods. Now, ABO here stands for Ad Set Budget Optimization, which we're going to be using for all of our ads, just so we can control the budget at the ad scale, at the ad set level. So before you test, you should actually know what works. And by what I mean the actual creatives. So these are the three creative formats that actually outperform every single possible other ad. So I've done a whole lot of testing, and these three came up as the best possible creatives you can have running in your ads. The first one is testimonials. So you're going to film a happy customer talking about their experience, right? So this could be a review of them standing in front of their house with the product in the background. So whoever's watching the ad can see it directly. These work well and it converts even better. Second type of content you can do is owner facing video. So this is just you on camera. You show who you are, what you do, and why your company is different. This builds trust and credibility with your audience. And you guys know that with trust and credibility, people are going to buy easier from you, right? It's an easy close if you're the one talking directly in front of the camera. And the last one is variety, where you're just taking a winning script, you tweak a little bit the setting, the outfit, or the speaker, and this is how you figure out which type of variety from the original creative actually works even better, right? So it's important to always keep testing creatives because you could find one winner or two winners, but you could find even 10 winners, and you're not going to know until you try different varieties. So now that you know what to put in the ad, this is how you actually find which ad is a winner. You start a testing campaign. So you're going to create a testing campaign. So the way it works is you're going to isolate one variable at a time, and then you're going to let the numbers or the data tell you exactly what wins for your business, right? So you're going to start with the creatives. Creatives, you can do images, videos, carousel, but I always recommend to do videos because that's what converts the best. Images, not so much, and carousel, not so much, but you're welcome to test all formats, right? There's no harm in testing everything, but definitely start off with video that's more converting. Now you can also test your offers, so discounts, offer free quotes, financial plans, bonuses. You can even do referral programs, right? So if the client refers you to one of the neighbors, they get a discount. That's an offer that prints most of the time. And then you have headline that you're going to test as well. So hooks, promise, angles, just different ways you can approach actually getting the client to submit that quoting request and to actually buy from you. And the last thing is your primary text, which is the main copy in your ad, which also includes your call to action at the bottom. Now, for this testing phase, there's two main metrics that you want to track here. Forget the rest. As long as you track these two, you can determine which ads actually work and which ones you can pour more money into. The very first one is your target cost per click. As long as it's under $1.50, sorry, 0.50, so 50 cents, then you have a good cost per click. Just make sure it's below this. And if it's above a 2% link click through rate, then that's also good. It means that your creatives are pretty decent, and then you can move them into the optimizing campaign. Now, during the testing phase, you're going to do 500 impressions per ad. And as soon as that ad hits 500 impressions, you're going to turn it off automatically. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's go into the ads manager here. So this is the ads manager from my agency account. This is the campaign that you're going to want to set up first. So this one is called Maestro Creative Testing, for example. This is what I use for my agency just as a testing phase. So the way to create a campaign, I'm just going to create it to show you how it works. Okay, now it's done loading. You're going to choose traffic campaign because here you only want to get link clicks. You want to figure out which creatives actually perform during the testing phase, and then you're going to hit continue. Okay, I'm not going to hit create, but I will show you the structure of this traffic campaign that we're going to use for testing. So we're going to go inside of here, click on edit. So this is the structure. You have the campaign level. So you give it a good name. You put the date here when you create a campaign. Traffic type, as you can see. It's important you select the ad set budget, not campaign budget, because you want to be able to regulate the budget at the ad set level. You're going to keep scrolling down. Don't touch any of this. Don't touch that. Boom. That's it for the campaign level. Moving on to the ad set level. Now you're going to have this. So over here, you have the conversion. Okay, it's taking a bit of time to load. Okay, so conversion again, you're going to redirect these people that see your ad to the website. You're going to maximize the number of link clicks. It's important you choose this one. Cost per result, don't touch that. Don't touch anything here. And you're going to put your daily budget at $50. Now, this is important because It's not going to spend the whole 50, but it's just so the testing phase goes by fast. So it's going to spend as fast as possible. And then as soon as it hits 500 impressions, it's going to turn off automatically. So this 50 will not all be spent within the ad set. It's probably going to spend like half of that if I had to estimate. And then we're going to keep scrolling down. For audience, you can put the United States here. I'm in Canada, so I put Canada. But whichever country you're in, you put the country here. Age, don't touch. Gender, all genders. That's it for that. And then for placements, this is important. You're going to choose manual placements. Anything Advantage Plus, you want to stay away from that. You're just going to spend more of your money, which is not necessary. So you're going to put manual placements, and you only really need two placements here. Facebook and Instagram, but more so specifically, Facebook feed and Instagram feed. The reason why we're deselecting all the other feeds is because this is where your ad is going to get the most visibility for testing. So if you had all the placements selected, the data is going to be inaccurate. So when you're in the testing phase, creating your testing campaign, make sure you only select Facebook feed and Instagram feed because those are usually the placements where ads perform the best and you want to collect accurate data, right? We don't want to waste money here. So that's it on the ads level. Let's move on to the ads level. So you're going to set up a couple different ads. For example, in this ad set, I have 4 different ads with 4 different ad creatives. Okay, so you select the Facebook page, Instagram account, boom, that's it. Destination, you put your website here. Over here, I just put this Calendly link because it leads to a booking page to get appointments. But you would put the website, your website over here. So your business's website. Keep scrolling, you don't touch any of this. Now, for the ad creative part, it's very simple. You're gonna put one ad creative over here. Okay. You only need one creative per ad when you're testing. So you put one ad creative, one primary text. So this is the primary text, and you're gonna put one headline. That's it. Anything more than one is not good because you're not going to know what works, right? In the testing phase, you only want to change one variable at a time so you know what actually has effect on your ads. All right, so one at a time. Then your call to action, keep it simple, learn more. So not get quote, not buy, not shop now, just learn more. Keep scrolling. You can turn this on if you want. That's not really necessary for this. You can turn this on. You don't need this. But that's it for the ad testing. And you're going to do that for 4 creatives, right? So I'm going to show you a different creative so you understand. Over here, for example, we have a different variation. So make sure that here you're changing the creative. Okay, this is a different creative, but the primary text and the headline stays the same. It's important. You change the creative, but you keep everything else the same because you're testing creative here. That's why it's called creative testing. Now, when you have all your ads set up with primary text, headline, creatives, and you followed all the settings that I showed you, and it's set up correctly, now we're going to go back over here and you're going to create a custom rule. Where is it? Okay, so we're going to go back to the campaign level. So you're going to select the creative testing campaign. You're going to click on more over here and you're going to hit here, create a new rule. Okay, custom rule. You're going to click here and you're going to apply this to all active ads in one selected campaign. Okay, you're going to turn off the ad. So we're going to call this the 500 impressions rule. So essentially what this does is as soon as your ad reaches 500 impressions, it's going to turn off automatically. We're going to change this to impressions. So you can just search this. Impressions is greater than 500. You're going to hit add. Time range, you keep it at maximum, so 37 months. Continuous on Facebook, and that's it. You're going to hit create. Okay, I already have this rule, so I'm going to show you how it pops up when you have it. So you select the campaign, you click on more, and you click on apply an existing rule. And you're going to apply this one. Okay, once you hit create, it's going to appear here, 500 impressions, which is going to turn off the ad if the impressions is greater than 500, and you hit apply. That's it. As soon as you hit apply, the rules apply, and now you can publish a campaign, your testing campaign, and have it running live. Okay, you don't have to touch anything. It's going to turn off automatically, and after that, you can collect the results. Now, once you're done your testing phase, now comes the optimizing phase. So over here, you're going to do 3 focus rounds. Each one narrows the field down until one winner remains. So think about your testing phase, you have multiple elements. You have creatives you tested, headlines, primary text. Once you get to the optimizing phase, you cut down all the underperformers. Okay, so you cut down on the underperformers. Add elements is the first round. So I start with the creative, the copy, and the offer, and you put those together. That's how you find that's how you have like your ad elements, right? So for the ad elements part, you're gonna wait 2 weeks, and whichever ad elements doesn't perform as well, you cut them off. Okay. For example, I'm gonna show you here. Okay, let's go, for example, in the this one. So this is the optimizing campaign. You're gonna create a different campaign, optimizing. This one is gonna be to generate leads. So when you create your campaign, you're gonna create it with the goal of generating leads, not traffic. Testing was traffic. This one, the optimizing, is to actually generate the leads for you. So as you can see, this one, this very first ad set over here, this is the first round. Okay, I call it round zero. If we look over here, I was spending about $15 per day, $90 spent, cost per lead $22. It's all right since we're selling a high ticket program. Now, what you want to look at, you're gonna go on breakdown. Once you're on breakdown, you want to go on dynamic creative elements, and you're going to first look at the videos, images, slideshow. Okay, it's going to show me everything, right? So here it shows me all three videos that I'm running in this ad set. It shows me the metrics for all of them. If I look at the click through rate, I got 1.87% here, 1.18, 2.18. It's all right. But the main thing you want to look at is the ad creatives. So we're going to look at the cost per lead. This ad creative didn't really spend anything, so we ignore that. This one had a $13 cost per lead, and this creative had a $24 cost per lead. So which one are we going to cut off? This one, because the cost per lead is higher, right? So we're going to cut this one off, and we're going to keep pouring money into this one because clearly it's a winner ad. It has half the cost per result, which means it's profitable. Same thing here. Okay, this is round one. We're optimizing, I believe, if we go back here, the placements. Okay, the placements, you remove some placements, whichever ones are not performing, you remove them, right? For example, here, $36 cost per lead, $10 cost per lead. Clearly, this one is the winner, so you're gonna cut this creative off. Now, if you want to see for placements, okay, this is to see which creatives are performing. If you want to see which placements are performing, you do the same thing. You hit placement here, and you're gonna get all the data. And you do the same exact thing that we did for the creatives. You look whichever ones have the lower cost per lead, okay, and whichever one had the highest cost per lead, and you cut off the placements that have a super high cost per lead. All right. Over here, it's pretty much like equal. The cost per lead is pretty much equal, so there's nothing that I had to cut off here. But that's pretty much it for that. Now, for the last round, okay, round three, demographics, age, and gender. You're gonna narrow to your highest converting audience. What does that mean? We're gonna do the same thing again. You're going to select demographics here, and you're going to check age and gender if you want. But the most important one to check is gender. This is one that's usually going to tell you which gender has the lower cost per lead and is the most profitable. Right. So for example, here, as you can see, males is the one that we're mostly, submitting lead form requests here, $19 cost per lead. But over here, for example, in this campaign, for females, the cost per lead was $8, but for males, it was $37. So, obviously, it hasn't spent a lot. So you want to make sure that you actually spend a lot of money. So let's say this campaign has spent like $500 and more and it had this cost per lead, then I would cut the male gender and I would only run as a female because the cost per result is so much lower. Now, this is not the only thing that you have to try. You should also take a look at the cost per acquisition. So if you notice that, yeah, females, have a lower cost per lead and they submit lead forms and are interested in your services, but males typically have a lower cost per acquisition, then you don't want to cut the males at the same time because their cost per lead might be higher, but if you're closing more of them, then it makes up for it, right? So you always have to think about those type of things and make sure that your data actually makes sense so you can make accurate decisions, right? So that's round three. And that's all you have to worry about for optimizing. Add elements that you cut off. So the creatives, the copy, and the offers that are not working, you remove them. Placements that have a high cost per lead, low CTR, remove them. And same thing with the demographics, age, and gender. And this is the formula to actually build your winner killing ad. You're going to combine the top performers from each test into one unstoppable ad. So you're going to take the best creative, the best offer, the best headline, the best primary text. You put them all together, and that gives you your optimized ad. And this is the one that will print money for your business for multiple weeks and even multiple months if optimized correctly. Now, once you've done optimizing it, you've had your ad, your winning ads running for a couple weeks now. Now comes the last phase, which most business owners get wrong, the scaling phase. For some reason, a lot of business owners are afraid to scale because that means putting more money into their business. So I'm going to show you two proven methods to actually grow your ad spend without breaking what's already working and without losing money at the same time. Okay. Method one is very simple. You're going to increase your ad set budget by 30% every 48 hours, so 2 days, right? It's a very simple method. It's called the gradual ramp. So you let the algorithm adapt to larger budgets without fully resetting the learning phase. Okay. You're not going to reset the learning phase fully. And then method two is a little bit more aggressive. You're going to duplicate the ad set and you're going to double the budget right away. So it essentially creates like a type of parallel campaign where you isolate the risk while testing higher budgets on the same winning ad. Okay. The reason why I'm saying you isolate the risk is because if you double the budget, okay, you duplicate the ad set, you double the budget on the new ad set, and let's say it doesn't perform well, you can always just turn it off. And then you still have your original ad set, which had the good results. But if you duplicate it and you double the budget and it does well, then you keep scaling. Okay, that's why the risk is isolated. So let's go inside the ads manager. I'm just going to show you how to do it quickly. So let's say, for example, let's say that this ad set is the winner ad. Okay, the winner ad set, and we have some good ads in here. Applying method one would just mean that I increase this by like $5 every 2 days. So instead of 15, I would put this at 21 or 20, and then I hit publish. Okay. Wait 48 hours, 25 Canadian. Wait 48 hours again, put it maybe at 35. Okay. That's how you gradually increase. That's how you gradually scale. Now, if I were to do method, okay, I don't know why it's doing this. If I were to do method two, okay, method two where I'm aggressively scaling, I'm going to take this ad set, I'm going to duplicate it, okay? Uncheck all these, you don't want anything advantage. Duplicate original setup, uncheck this. Okay, so it's duplicating. And now I'm going to go back here. You don't want to publish this yet. So you see here, this is a copy of the ad set that we duplicated. I'm going to change this to $30, okay? Save to draft. So the original ad set where we had our killer ads were $15 spending per day. We duplicated it to 30 and you're going to publish this one. If it performs, you keep it running for as long as you want, as long as the cost per lead and whichever metrics you're tracking is actually profitable. If it does worse than the original ad set, then you kill it, turn it off, and you turn this one back on and you keep testing new creatives, new offers, new formats. That's how you do the scaling, and that's how you don't lose money on scaling because you're essentially isolating the risk. So you're not losing anything essentially. And make sure that all your campaigns are always ABO, ad set budget optimization, because that's what gives you the most control. CBO, which is campaign budget optimization, the opposite, you can only control the spend at the campaign level. So you don't actually know which ad set is winning since it kind of just spreads your budget equally. Well, not really equal, it spreads your budget throughout the whole campaign on whichever ads, the algorithm think is doing better. But yeah, go with all ABO most of the time. So that's it. That's a complete system, three phases, one outcome, a profitable scaling ad machine, as I like to call it. Testing, you figure out what works. Optimizing, you cut the underperformers and refine the winner. And then scaling, you multiply the result and you scale your revenue essentially. So a few things to keep in mind: four variables that you're testing, three rounds that you're optimizing, which should last you about 6 weeks when you're running the ads, and two scaling methods. One is a gradually increasing budget, and the other one is you're doubling the budget so you can scale more aggressively. And at the end of that, you should have one killer ad that can run for multiple weeks, if not multiple months continuously. And of course, this is not about spending more, as I always say. It's about knowing exactly what works before you scale it. You should be tracking every single dollar, and every single decision that you make on ads should be backed by data that you see in the ads manager. All right. Now, I've shown you the full system. I went inside of my ads manager. I showed you examples, how to set up the campaigns. So you have no more excuse. You can literally start this system and apply it to your ads starting today. And results can literally compound from literally day one, as soon as you start, right? The first thing I want you to do is launch your testing campaign this week. You start with 4 ad variations, testing one variable at a time. This is important. You always want to test only a variable at a time so you know what actually affects your results, what affects your data. Second thing I want you to do is you're going to let your data run to 500 impressions before you actually decide whichever ones are actually working, whichever ones are winners. And basically, patience is the strategy here. Okay, you don't want to kill your ads too early. You want to give them time to actually spend to make sure that you're getting the best possible results out of them. And the last step I need you to take here is to follow this full system from start to finish. Okay, don't just test and optimize and you don't scale because you're scared of spending money. Okay, test, optimize, scale in that specific order every single time, and you will see results for your business. You'll get more leads, you'll get more quotes, and if you even have decent at sales, you will get more jobs. Okay, you will close more jobs. So that's pretty much it. Now I know I covered a lot, but if you're struggling to even set a system like this for your business, or if you just need me to jump into Ads Manager with you, take a look at your business, see how you can make a little bit more money on ads, and set this exact system for yourself, then I'm just going to leave a link down below. You can book a free consultation call with me, and I'll see what I can do. All right. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a sub and a like, a comment. And if you have some recommendation on what you want to see in the next video, you can leave that down below as well. That's it, and I'll see you in the next one.